What's up, hoop heads? It's your boy JB here with Undrafted Hoops, coming at you with another episode of our off-season block party, where we discuss the off-season of all 30 NBA teams. We spend about 30 to 40 minutes per team. This is our 12th team now, which is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers directly behind me. KB, number 24. Congratulations on the 2K cover. Much respect. But before we get started, I just want to give you a quick intro. I want you to make sure you check out our Facebook page at Undrafted Hoops. Also check out our Twitter at Undrafted Hoops underscore. It's where we cover most of our daily news, comparisons, debates, anything breaking news in the NBA. We really try to eliminate that toxic narrative that surrounds the league and just give our own little spin, unbiased as much as possible on the daily NBA content. And also, if you haven't done so yet, or if you want to at least wait till the end of the show, make sure you go to our YouTube page. Please go to our YouTube and smash on that subscribe button for us. It's much appreciated. And I also want to give a shout out to our boys over at Hardcore Sports Network. Appreciate everything that they've done for us up to this point. It's obviously a sports network, so they cover every sport: baseball, football, diehard Eagles group, big wrestling podcast in there. So make sure you give them some love too. Well earned and much respected. So appreciate you fellas. So before we jump into the Lakers, and I am excited for this one, I gotta introduce my boy, Bigfoot himself, Sasquatch, Tony Hoop. Tony, I almost called you Tony Hoops. Wow, that might be your new one. Why not start calling you Tony Hoops? What's up, brother?
I'm a fan of Tony Hoops.
Tony Hoops
Rolls
kind of dope.
rolls off the tongue like a finger roll.
It sounds
Um,
like a cereal, like Fruit Loops.
it
Tony Hoops, bro.
was
I'll put you
no
on on the cover of the cereal box.
marshmallows are hoops. Got you know.
So we come on to talk about the Lakers, and you're going to show up with your Sixers jersey. Man, what is wrong with you?
Australian it's different.
Oh, it's the Australian Sixers.
Yeah.
Yeah, our Lakers fans, they don't know. They see Sixers, they see blood. So
Uh,
look, let's dive in, bro. Let's. This has been a very it's a very important off season for the Lakers because at some point or another you have to worry about life after LBJ because I think he has 2 years left on his contract this year and next, and they have to start picking a direction. They obviously they want to compete for a championship. You only get a certain amount of opportunities with a guy like LeBron, Anthony Davis. So you know they obviously want to put a team on the floor that can help him compete for the title. I mean, we seen it last year. They went as far as the Western Conference Finals. Um, just before we even jump into who they signed and who they lost, do you see a balance with this team where they are trying to field a competitive roster, but also having a balance of the future of this team? Let's jump right into a guy that they signed, and I want to give this guy his praise. One of the most important offseason re-signings for the Lakers was Austin Reeves. Um, Tell me why you think it was so important for them to re-sign Reeves and keep him on the floor with LeBron for a couple more seasons.
they really needed to bring back Reeves because there's just no one on the free agent market who could fit his role. He's good on and off ball. He's getting to the line at an unbelievable clip, which is just gone up last year. So if he can even take that to another level, that's huge. And he doesn't really make too many mistakes. Guy has a high basketball IQ. I honestly thought he was going to make more money than that. So good job by the Lakers bringing him back and keeping him under that contract. Um, and they just absolutely must. I mean, guys, also Team USA, FIBA. Um, he just keeps improving. Austin Reeves, big signing for the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to keep on Reeves, but somebody just commented. I want to touch on it. They said in order for the Lakers to be elite competitive, they need more out of Anthony Davis. So let's pivot off Reeves for 1 second and jump right into this Anthony Davis conversation. Um, all season, he played great basketball defensively. I have to give him that. Guess complaining about Tony's volume. Bump up the volume, Tony, if you can. Um, I want to talk about Anthony Davis for a minute. The one thing in his game that I was upset about was his inability or his indecision to shoot the free ball. And when it became time to the playoffs, defenses really shrunk the floor, and they really weren't worried about Anthony Davis stretching. I think if Anthony Davis has to improve on anything in his game defensively, you got to give the guy his props. But offensively, I think he needs to shoot like 5 or 6. I think he needs to shoot at least 5 threes a game. Maybe not that many, but 4. I just feel like in order to open up the paint for LeBron and guys like D'Angelo Russell when they got the ball and Vincent, like I think Anthony Davis needs to be on the perimeter a little bit more, at least a threat to shoot the ball. What what do you think would open up his game the most offensively? Because yeah, he's had some big games, but they were very inconsistent, and at times they really needed him to be more assertive. Do you do you expect a little more from him offensively going into next season?
Not much. He was pretty efficient offensively this year. I mean, he averaged like 26 a game.
Yeah,
He's
26
been
points.
he's been shooting less and less from three. I guess that's a team thing. Like the one year, I think he was 33% and made one like over a three a game. But since then, he's constantly taking less and less threes. It's I don't know. It's hard with Anthony Davis. I feel like fans always give him such a hard time. If he's not in the paint, they say, "What is he doing? Why is he not in the paint?" And then if he's not shooting jump shots, then people are saying, "Why is he not spacing the floor?" I don't know. I honestly thought he had a good season last year, and
Oh, he
they
definitely had a good season. There's no doubt about
they
that.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't think he may get a little more touches, but nothing too
Yeah,
crazy.
it's no, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm totally on board with his efficiency, taking less shots. I mean, he scored at a 57% clip. Um, the thing I'm getting at is just the style of play. Like, if you're running a pick and roll with LeBron and Anthony Davis, the majority of the time he's rolling to the basket, and then LeBron he can never create going to the basket with Anthony and pick and roll if because it's just so much easier to defend if you know the guy's just going to slip into the paint. I just thought in the playoffs, if Anthony Davis would have just popped out like he shot 1.3 attempts a game, I think it should be. I said 5 was that is ridiculous. Now that I sit back and think about it, but 3, 3.5, it just opens up the floor for LeBron, and I think it's needed at this point. You know, I mean, LeBron had an unbelievable season. Again, 29 points a game. I don't know when it stops. Like, when does he stop averaging 25? I don't know. But I just thought stylistically, Anthony Davis just needs to be more aware of that as opposed to just getting to the basket. But I do know what you're saying. It's sometimes it's a it's a double-edged sword, like you said. If he's in the paint, why isn't he shooting threes? If he's stretching, then why isn't he just dominating the paint? You know, it's tireless sometimes. But let's jump back into some of these re-signings, and then I'm sure we're going to splash in the AD and LeBron conversations off some of these guys. One of the guys that definitely benefited playing with both LeBron and Anthony Davis was Hachimura. Now, as much as I thought, as important as I thought Reeves was re-signing, I thought Hachimura was actually more important because you've seen in the playoffs him and AD really meshed well at times together defensively, and his capabilities that are offensively. Are you still feeling good about this pairing? I think they stole him from the Wizards. Shout out to Gary. Don't think I forgot. Lakers appreciate Hachimura, my brother. But let's talk about him a little bit and what he means for this team going forward.
Yeah, he's one of them guys who a direction of what his role was, and the Lakers did that. They explained what they needed from him. He's been working with Phil Handy. He's gotten
Okay.
significantly better, and he's even taking off FIBA to work with Phil Handy exclusively instead of playing for Japan,
That's
which means
disappointing.
that
But I'm sure he's going to play in
it
the Olympics, though.
yes, that is also the thing of why some guys are taking off. But it's also at the same time he saw how much better he got in the short period with Phil Handy, and he's like, "Whoa, what have I been doing with my summers? I've been wasting my
Yeah,
time." And now all of a
yeah,
sudden he's got confidence because this guy, remember, he's had a ridiculous life. He was African American in Japan. Everyone was staring at him like, "What is wrong? Who is this guy?" Like he didn't fit. He didn't fit in then. Then he goes to Gonzaga, where then they think he's just a black guy, right? And they're speaking
yeah.
English to him. And Rui's like trying to learn offense, and he has no idea what's going on. And people would stare at him then, like, "Why are you
That's true.
ignoring me?" And then he goes straight into the NBA, and he's just supposed to figure it out. And then he goes to an organization like Washington, who has no direction. Palinka goes, "Oh, I like this guy's key skills. It fits our mold." They get Hachimura, and he is. I'm thinking 15 a game for Rui.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 9.6 with them in the 33 games he played with them. I definitely think there's an increase there. I don't. 15 might be a little steep, but I could see it being the ceiling, 15, 16. But I'll probably be in that 12 range. But I just think he gives him a lot. He's a smart basketball player. He's not going to try and do too much. And I like what I've seen from him on the defensive end. I mean, he strong kid. I know. How many years did he play in high school? I mean, in college. In college.
2 years, but the first year it was the
Only.
he literally didn't know the plays and stuff, so he couldn't
Yeah.
like. So he was a 2 year guy, and then uh, we all know he went to the Wizards,
Oh God. It's like purgatory for prospects. Here's the here's you know what I'm saying, like uh Jared Vanderbilt also re-signed. I think they had a team option on him. Awesome. I mean, I was disappointed that they really went away from him in the playoffs after he had a good game or two against Golden State. And then they kind of went away from him a little bit, and it was a little concerning. But it was an easy sign to bring him back. I think they got a 1 year deal with him, right?
yeah, and he's going to be matchup based.
Matt.
Some
Okay.
teams he's going to play 20 25 minutes, and then but against Denver, it was like, what was he bringing you? Because like it was interesting. I don't know, because it's like he was such a liability on offense Denver just started to pack the paint, like had Aaron Gordon float around and whoever was on him, and they were like, we can't have him on the floor as much.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree. Now that the NBA I think more teams are adding like depth for matchup reasons, especially for the regular season, and then every team just seems to be going to like 7, 8 man rotation in the playoffs now. So I think I think it was an important re-signing. D'Angelo Russell, though, man, I that's a signing I really didn't think was going to happen, especially after Gabe Vincent got signed from Miami. I want to talk about both of them. Now that Schroeder's gone, he went to Toronto. Um, Gabe Vincent's going to assume his role. Way better shooter, and he's a good defensive player. Who do you think starts out of those two? And how do you kind of see their minutes being rotated? By the way, Tony, everyone wants you to speak up a little bit. They said your volume's low, so keep that in mind.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Who do I think starts? Initially, I was thinking they're gonna roll with Russell, but I think later down playoff time, Gabe Vincent is the starter.
Playing in that high 20s, 27 minute range, 30 minute, maybe even 30 minutes, bro. He he was very impressive.
Yeah, for
He was a
sure.
key part.
He,
He was a key. Gabe Vincent was a huge part in Miami's run to the finals. But it just didn't turn. I was this. I actually, if I was the Lakers, I would have kept Vincent. I would have signed Vincent and kept Dennis over D'Angelo Russell, in my opinion. I mean, I know they want guards who can stretch. I mean, Shooter wasn't a terrible shooter. He's like a situational shooter, you know. Um, but Vincent is clearly the upgrade for them, especially in terms of style. So I thought that was a plus signing for them. I didn't even have him on their radar.
yeah, I thought it was also a plus signing. For especially like the amount that they paid for him, and like you
Yeah,
said, he can play point guard, shooting guard, so they can just rotate those three guys and uh, just having a guy who can shoot the three at a high level, but then also pump fake, dribble, and create is it's really what the Lakers needed. He's a much better fit for them than Dennis Schroeder.
yeah, absolutely. Let's keep on guys that they also went out and signed. Cam Reddish is one that I'm in love with. I talked about this on our NBA free agency show. They lose Lonnie Walker. Where did Lonnie Walker sign with, by the way? It slipped my mind.
I think the Nets.
Yeah, the Nets. They signed with the Nets. He was a guy that they picked from San Antonio um, as kind of like a young flyer. Like we're just going to take a flyer on this kid, see what type of spark he brings to the team, and it paid off for them because in the playoffs he saved them one game, and he really was a spark plug off the bench. Well, they lose him, and then they take a flyer on a kid that I'm not ready to give up on. Cam Reddish is a point forward who's been on teams where they already had point guards. Lakers have point guards also, but I think Cam Reddish is going to have the opportunity to really play with the ball in his hands off the bench and maybe give the team a little bit of spark like Lonnie Walker did. Lonnie Walker is more of an offensive player, but you know, are you a fan of the Reddish signing? Like, I mean, I feel like it's a low risk, high reward for them.
Yeah, considering he's how cheap he is, he was a cheap option, and he has upside. And he's the super athlete. played pretty well for Portland down the line.
Yeah,
Definitely like it. I mean, because the Lakers are big into okay, maybe you guys didn't know how to be a professional basketball player. So then they take these guys, and it always helps when you like I know people don't want to hear this, but when you play with LeBron James, you listen to the guy and you start to believe in yourself and get confidence.
yeah,
So I mean, Cam Reddish, if he's terrible, then he just won't play. And if you get the good Cam Reddish, then he's could be playing 20 good minutes a night for them. So I absolutely love that signing.
yeah. I just think having LeBron as a mentor for him is definitely a positive. Like you said, if you don't get better a little bit playing with the dude, something's wrong, and you might not have it. But I like the opportunity. I like the signing by Palinka, who I think is just one of the best in the game right now. Front office guys, he's doing a great job. And there's two more signings that we'll touch on at the same time. Torian Prince, okay, I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't know. I think him and Vanderbilt will be competing for minutes a lot. But the one I do want to touch on, and you could tell me about Prince also if you'd like, but Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes, I like. He was super raw coming out of college. I believe he went to Texas. Um, just plays downhill, gets to the rim. Uh, if Anthony Davis isn't shooting threes, then those two are going to be hard to play on the court together at the same time. But if those two are on the court together at the same time, it's going to be hard to get a basket at the rim. I mean, you're talking about a lot of length and a lot of athleticism. How you feeling about this, Jackson? You know, the Lakers took a shot at Mo Bamba and they just couldn't get on the floor. He got hurt at the wrong times. But how you like this Jackson Hayes and Torian Prince signs?
I'm I like love the Torian Prince signing for them too, just because it's just another rotational guy who's a good corner 3-point shooter and doesn't need the ball and just can fill into that role. So I think he shot it was like 38% from three last year on the Lakers. There's no reason he can't shoot 40% off the bench for them. Uh, it's fits exactly what they're doing. And then the Jackson Hayes signing, like you said, the lineups where it's him and AD, it will be insane to score on them. The weak side help defense is it's gonna be a block party, baby. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and sign another 23-year-old who runs around and finally is now part of a system and he they I mean, and they'll find them for lob threats. Reeves will be throwing them oops. LeBron will be throwing them oops. Even
Yeah.
AD catches it, and Hayes in the dunker spot throwing alley oops. So another buy low and high reward. So I'm on board.
I mean, the idea is to move AD to the four, and it's always been his dream to play the four because he don't like bang. I mean, you've seen he was at a disadvantage versus Jokic. I mean, everybody's at a disadvantage versus Jokic, but it's the only guy that isn't is Joel Embiid, but he don't get that far to play against Jokic in them games that matter. I gotta say it. I'm a diehard Sixers fan, but I gotta say it. Anthony Davis, I thought he struggled a little bit. What do you think the Lakers, besides Jackson Hayes, what are they looking at the five? Besides him and AD, are they going to? They're not bringing Jordan back, are they? I mean, Tristan Thompson
Uh,
back, are they?
maybe as like a last but they really like their two-way signing, Colin Castleton. And he's been absolutely crushing summer league.
Really?
He's like 7 foot, block free shots in college. His playmaking got a lot better. Doesn't shoot from the outside, but he has really good touch. Like he's all right from the foul line. Shoots. Oh, he can mid shoot from the mid range a little bit. But
Wow.
yeah, a lot of people were super high on this kid. Like a few draft Twitter guys that I follow thought he was worthy of a first round pick, and he didn't get
Wow.
drafted. So maybe Palinka again. He
He
sees value. That guy will find a diamond in a rough.
he does, bro. He does. That dude's putting in overtime, bro. I gotta give him props because the Lakers started last year pretty horrendous. I believe they were like 3-12, 3-14, something along those lines, and the team just didn't fit. And stylistically, it didn't work. Made some moves. Obviously, not just for last season. Some of the trades he made, like uh, trading for Hachimura, is for maybe the next 4 seasons. Reddish and Hayes are young. If one of them guys meshes well with AD, this could be for like 4 or 5 years down the road. And even they drafted the kid Shafino. They could have moved the pick and kind of forced a trade, but they didn't. They went with the youth. And, I think that the Lakers' approach is we got to the Western Conference Finals, um, kind of on momentum. Memphis was hurt in the first round. Trying to bring this full circle with this conversation. Do we think last year, I hate calling playoff runs fluky. Do we think this team has it in them to go back to the Western Conference Finals? Um, or should we lower our expectations for them? Tell me where you're at with this Lakers team right now. We know their roster is probably 90% complete. We might get a trade or two. I believe they have a trade exception, maybe. I think they have a small trading exemption. Where do you see this team kind of? Because I know it's so early, but where do you kind of see the direction this season for them?
So regular season, I don't know, just because of injuries and such. I have them in the playoffs. Uh, but this team is better than last year. Uh, and
And from the
so
start too.
from the start, from the start, and Darvin Ham has like they have a year of guys, core guys. Like they have more direction of what they want to do. To where like last year, like you said, they started 2-12. Uh,
2-12, yeah.
and so I don't know. I don't know if I'm betting they're over in the for the regular season win total, but come playoff time, you don't want to play this team.
Yes, at 100% full strength, you really should never want to play a LeBron and Anthony Davis team unless you're Denver. Um, I think I think Darvin Ham's second year is going to make a difference. I think you're going to see hopefully some more plays from them. I thought at times the Lakers lacked the ability for set plays. I even seen a couple times in big games where um, they just didn't execute a play, make the extra pass when it mattered. And I think in terms of chemistry and some of the newer additions, and in terms of a better style fit, I think this team could definitely make a playoff run again. I don't think they're a championship team, but I do think, like you said, that they are a momentum team, especially in a 7 game series. So I'm still I'm curious if they could, they were a playing team last year. I'm curious if they could solidify themselves um, early on in the year and really try to be a top 6 playoff team. But, a lot could happen in an 82 game season. The one thing that, um, the one thing that I want to touch on with this Lakers team before we close out is they're going to have a shot at the NBA Cup. This is new. It's an in-season tournament that kind of came out yesterday what they were going to do. And um, at first, I had no idea what their plan was. And now that the NBA Cup has been presented and how they're going to do it, I extremely became excited because I love the format. I want to talk about their group stage real quick. I'm actually going to pull it up right now. I know it was Memphis and Utah.
Yeah,
Believe it was.
think the Nuggets are in there. Trying to find it.
It's West Group A. I'm pulling it up as we speak. I'm 100% here. It is right here. I got it right here. They got Memphis, Phoenix, Utah, and Portland. Very tough. Um, a lot of it's going to matter. They have 2 home games, 2 away games. So I'm curious to see which two are which. Does make a difference, in my opinion. So very tough draw. It's going to be the best record out of that team advances to the 8. And I'm excited for it. And I like their chances in it, to be honest with you. But it's a tough hill because Memphis and Phoenix are going to be tough.
Memphis, yeah, Phoenix gonna be tough. I believe Ja's suspension will take place in the beginning of the season,
Very true.
so they shouldn't have him. And then in a 4 game, though, I could see the Jazz coming out of this bracket, especially if, like you said, they get the favorable home and away matchups. They could easily pull an upset. They could be, yeah, they could sweep this bracket. That's why I'm hype on this NBA Cup. People were like, "Oh, why have an in-season tournament?" It's like, well, this is incredible. This is going to get casual fans to watch these games, and say the Jazz come out and make a run in that. People are going to watch the Jazz right away in early in the season when they would have never ever done. So it's really awesome in that sense. Uh, and the Lakers have a good chance because they're going to have fresh legs out the gate. It depends how. I think everyone's going to play it serious. There's the regular season game. Why
Why
wouldn't
wouldn't you? Had they
Vegas?
determined what the what the prize is going to be for the champion, or is it just it's got to be like a extra salary? It's technically 3 extra regular season games, right?
Yeah. So I haven't seen it, but before it became official, there was a rumor. I think they were supposed to get like a million each or something for the winning team. So I should
Hmm.
probably figure that what the what the actual prize is. But
And I wonder how are they going to get paid? Like you're playing 3 extra games. Does the team have to pay you? See, that's where I think the NBA should be like, yo, we're gonna pay you. If your team makes the Elite Eight, you're gonna I don't know what they're gonna call it. I'm just calling it the Elite Eight. You should get a bonus. Like everybody should get uh, what they would get for a game plus a percentage or something. I don't know. Like I don't know this get like the ramifications of it salary wise. But I do agree with you. I think every team, especially the first NBA Cup, I think every team is really going to make an effort to get into that Final Four, Elite Eight picture because, like you said, it puts the eyeballs on you. And then it's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be a spectacle. I'm sure we're going to do some type of a halftime type of deal. Um, so I think it's cool. Fuck it, man. I love the play-in to get into the playoffs. I think it adds an extra layer to the season. And now this is something else. It just gives us more to talk about. And I love the NBA. I'll talk about it all year round. The finals has been over for what, a month and a half now. Hasn't stopped our conversation one bit. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. But do you got anything else you want to touch on the Lakers? Or are we going to kind of wrap it up here?
Just one thing. LeBron has a player option after the season.
Ooh.
And also just the NBA, the timing of the cup couldn't be better. Early in the season, before Christmas, it has nothing to do with what during the trade deadline and the All-Star game. It gives you a chance to have something early buzz, but not get in the way of all the transactional stuff.
Yeah, and then Christmas is a whole different spectacle for the NBA.
Yup. And so that's just where I'm at for that. And also playoff performance or player performances. If a guy who's not a highlighted name has a heck of a tournament, he will get his eyes on him from the beginning of the season. So it's a win-win. If you like basketball, it's a huge win.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives an incentive to the regular season. It's like you said, especially early in the year. It could be like a thing where a team's like super healthy in the beginning of the season and they win the NBA Cup and then they lose. They don't, somebody gets hurt and it could be like a what if thing. And it's like, can this team get healthy and put it together for the playoffs? Like you said, it gives it a little bit of a, what if a Cinderella team comes out of the group stage and wins? Then it kind of, like you said, it just brings hype. The NBA, it's all about hype. It's all about getting eyeballs on your product, and that's all it is. The NBA is a business that wants your eyeballs. If you look at any sport and realize that's what the league, that's all it is. They want you to watch it, then they want you to talk about it, and they want you to share it on your social medias, and it's a consumed product. And I'm going to consume the shit out of it. So that's what I'm here to do. But, Tony, we seem to fix your connection issues where you have better clarity and there's no pause in between our conversations. It flowed really good. We're going to work on this volume thing and get your beautiful voice heard over the airwaves. So, because apparently it was a little bit of an issue tonight. I hope it wasn't too low where people couldn't really hear some of the stuff you were saying because you were spitting knowledge tonight as usual. So I appreciate you, dog. Sasquatch of Hoops, Bigfoot Hoops, Tony Hoops, all of the above. Peace out, my brother.
See ya.
Peace. Yo, I don't know. We'll figure it out. If you're still watching the show and it wasn't too much of a distraction, I appreciate you. We have fun with this. This is our 12th team. We got 18 more. If you watch our first one and our 12th one, we will get better gradually. That's a promise. That's something we strive for at Undrafted Hoops. If you want to see what we're about, we started on Facebook, Undrafted Hoops. We started as a content pusher. We ballooned it to like 28,000 followers. My man Josh is behind the scene like the Wizard of Oz, putting posts together, but we have fun with it. That's our biggest thing because we have fun watching the NBA, so we have fun covering it, even way more fun covering it. We're also on Twitter, a lot of the same shit on Facebook, at Undrafted Hoops _ and YouTube. This is like our 45th video, I believe. We're pushing 50 videos. We're pushing 100 subscribers. We're building it brick by brick. Eventually, we'll have a wall. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Hardcore Sports Network. They gave us an opportunity. We're just going to run with it with them, and maybe we'll do something together. But I appreciate them over there. Make sure you give them a sub also. And that's it. Your boy JB signing out. Go Lakers. Fuck the Celtics, baby.